Today I'm going to show you how to make duck. I got the recipe whenever I watched Good Eats with Alton Brown, but I'm using wild duck. I have a mallard hen here and a skinned teal here. And all you're going to need are the ducks. We have orange juice, peppercorns, whole black peppercorns, crushed full cloves of garlic, thyme, and kosher salt. And I'm going to show you what to do now. We need to chop off the head and the legs. Okay. So it's not quite as slippery if you cut the neck first, the skin with the knife. You can just snap that neck off with your kitchen shears. Ta-da! And then cut off the feet as well. So this duck was only plucked and the teal was skinned. Now we're going to cook them together because the skin and the fat from the plucked duck is actually going to give it a lot more flavor, so it's going to soak into the other one as well. So this one, what we're going to do first is cut out the backbone. I am cutting the skin first to try and get as close to the bone as I can so that it's easier for the shears. They only have to cut through the bone. Oh, okay. So after you finish cutting out the backbone, flip it over and cut it in half straight down the middle of the breast. Once again, if you cut the skin first, it will be easier. Perfect. And now that you've got your two halves, you want to separate it into quarters, which we are going to do with both birds. So what we're going to do is we're going to separate the leg and thigh from the breast. We're just going to cut right along here. So now what we need to do is score the skin. We don't have to do it to the teal because it's already skinned. So what you do, just along the skin, is you want to take a really sharp knife and just lay it against the edge and just barely score the skin. You don't want to go all the way through to the meat. And now what we're going to do is make the brine. Like I said before, I'm using Alton Brown's recipe, but I'm changing up the measurements just a little bit because I'm using a different amount of duck than he was. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3 cups of orange juice and pour it into a bag. Three-fourths a cup of kosher salt, and some whole black peppercorns, and then I have about 8 crushed cloves of garlic. I'm also going to put some thyme in here. And I couldn't find fresh thyme, so I'm just using ground thyme. This is about 1.5 teaspoons of thyme. And now we need to shake the bag until the salt is completely dissolved. So now you just put all of your duck into the bag. And we're going to put this in the refrigerator for about 2 to 2.5 hours. And you want to try and get as much air out of the bag as you can when you're sealing it. So what I've done is taken my largest pot that also has a strainer in it, and I put in about 1.5 inches of water, and I'm letting it boil. Now I'm going to turn the heat down to medium-low, and we are going to steam our duck for 45 minutes. So what you need to do is put your duck into the pot, but don't just pop it in. It all needs to be spread out as much as possible. Now you need to put the lid on top of it and set a timer for 45 minutes. Do not lift the lid, because if you take the lid off, then all the steam will escape and it won't cook like you need it to. While your duck is steaming, preheat your oven to 475 degrees and have a pan inside the oven heating up with it. This is just so that we can sear the duck once it's finished steaming. So now that your duck has been steaming for 45 minutes, you need to put it into the pan that's been heating in the oven. And this goes back in the oven for 7 minutes. Once you're finished, just plate it. And I hope that you enjoy it.